Yaka Vinayaka Vishwadhara Vinayaka Vishwadhara Vinayaka 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 Suramuni Vandita Sri Ganesha Suramuni Vandita Sri Ganesha Suramuni Vandita Sri Ganesha Suramuni Vandita Sri Ganesha. Adorations to Ganesh Ji. You know, our Hindu rituals are so important to evolution, to perfection. Because not all of us are in the higher levels that we can do without the rituals. Like Swamiji's, you know, they go directly. For me at the BHARAT SEVASHRAM, I was so blessed to have to be plucked out by Swami Parameshananda ji. Never thought that I want to be a sannyas, but he made me a sannyas the day that happened. And since then he's been guiding and personally appearing and giving his darshan and guiding in the dreams and guiding in the meditation and putting me in the right place at the right time to do his work. And the seva is the purification process. Well, in that sense, you know, when you have a person, a God like that, a manifestation of consciousness like that, then what happens? You graduate from the rituals. But rituals can be so profound in the meaning that they give. They sustain devotion and faith. Because we have to have that devotion and faith all the time. We cannot do without that. And when we worship Ganesh Ji, that comes. But who is this Ganesh Ji? We've heard that he is the creation of Mother Parvati when she was taking her bath and she needs someone to guard the door. Then what she did, out of the haldi or the dye from her skin, she created a Ganesh Ji. And Ganesh Ji would have guarded. And then we know when Lord Shiva came and he was trying to enter, but Ganesh Ji was following the orders of his then mother, Mother Parvati, and then there was a battle ensued, and then Lord Shiva would have taken out the head of Ganesh Ji, that child, and then anyway, afterwards the head of a elephant was put, a baby elephant that never saw his mother was put on the head of Ganesh Ji. And this is our mythology, and well, we have to think it's truth also. But who is Ganesh Ji? Why are we worshipping? And I would just like to say that you should embrace silence. That here this morning, let us embrace silence. And the sound that we hear is coming from Lord Shiva Lingam. And the brightness of the sun that is reflecting on the water and coming out from the sky very shortly. It's here already, but the clouds are blocking it. So then we want to embrace silence. Let us do 1 or 2 minutes of japam, and that will put us in the state of meditation. Let us chant this mantra. Assume your meditative position and join me, please. Om Sri Guru Shivaya Namah. 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 Lose yourself and go to the higher regions of consciousness. Exit your body as energy, consciousness from the top of head, and you go into earth atmosphere as energy, leaving the body behind. And then you go into space from all points of earth atmosphere, and then you go past our galaxy, the sun, and the 9 planets around the sun, including our Mother Earth. And then you go beyond space and you go into the vastness of consciousness. Same consciousness that we are the same manifestation of the 5 elements we are. So this morning, think that you are God. Think that you are already what you want to be. And that is dynamics, the dynamic thinking. Ganeshji, really, he is inside of us. You know, when you embrace silence, there's a voice that is guiding you. We can do that as Ganeshji. And we say, Ganeshji, please remove our obstacles. But he's constantly talking to us. But we have to obey what he's saying. And then through our yoga asanas and meditation, that voice will become very distinct. And we'll be listening to it every time. It's the voice that we want to hear. And it's the same voice of Lord Shiva. It's the same voice of Swami Parameshananda ji. It's the same voice of Krishna Bhagwan and Christ and the Buddha. They're all the same when consciousness manifests itself. We cannot distinguish each other. That's why religions make that differentiation. But the founders of religion, they are the same. They're manifestation of consciousness. When we are at that level, then we are at the liberated level. When we see everything that was created is the same consciousness that exists in you, exists in me, and the animals. And here this morning, we are worshipping Mother Earth. That is manifestation of consciousness. We're worshipping the water, manifestation of consciousness. We're worshipping Sun, Surya Narayan, the greatest manifestation of consciousness. And here, these are all elements that give us life, and then space. So this morning, this is the Ganeshji that we're worshipping. And where we do our meditation, japam and exercise, then what happens, that voice becomes more pronounced. We hear it more clearly, we hear it more often, and then it comes a point, that is the voice that is completely guiding us. We live in the world, but the world is not in us. We have gone beyond this manifested earth, and we're looking at it, and what we see, something that is different from us. And then you see the mirage, the illusion, and then you laugh and you say, oh my, what an illusion. It's so mesmerizing that it traps us. But remember, like Krishna Bhagwan said, you have nothing to do with it. He said, I have nothing to do with the virtue or the sin that is happening on earth. I'm free from it. So also we can be like that. We see the illusion, but we're not part of it. Because what happened? We have gone beyond sin. Swami Parameshananda ji would have said, what is religion? Self-sacrifice, self-discipline, adherence to truth and countenance. What is that self-discipline? When we follow that inner voice and we don't disobey. This morning I'd like to conclude with a nice little story that Punyaji, we went to the temple yesterday, Bhuvaneshwar Mandir. And that's the temple that springboarded me from that day one morning, Sunday morning. I left the temple and my friend Prakash, he took me to the ashram after he had a dream. He wants a dream that Swamiji feet was in his harmonium. And he took me to the only Swamiji he knows, Swami Vidyanand of BHARAT SEVASHRAM. And from that Monday we went there and I saw Swami Vidyananda ji and I saw Swami Parameshananda ji photo for the first time. And I knew that my first experience, he was the one that's doing it. He plucked me out of this mundane life and put me in the plateau on the road to moksha, liberation. I just have to sustain it. But this story that the Punjaji was telling me says that there was this Guruji and he had many disciples. They were very affluent, from affluent families. And after their graduation, he says to them, well, I have to sustain my ashram. So you like to give something. But if you're going to give something, please, you cannot let your parents know. because this is like you're giving it and from your side. But they went home, and many of them came back and they took things from their house. They didn't tell their parents. They thought it was good things. They're giving it to Guruji, parents wouldn't mind. And they were happy. But one boy, he came to the Guruji and he says, Guruji, whenever I go to take something, there's someone always looking at me. Even in the night when people are sleeping, there was somebody looking at me. And then I couldn't take it. And then the Guruji was saying, well, who was looking at you? And he said that every time I try to take something, that voice was telling me, no, you're stealing. And this is a good example of what it feels like, that how we should be guided by that inner voice. Let us embrace that silence, and then we'll hear that voice. We can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. The mind that we have now is not listening to that inner voice. It's thinking guided by the ego and intellect, and we are thinking that we are the administrator and guidance of our life. But this is the mistake. So with Ganesh Chaturthi and the worship of Ganeshji all this week, take that in mind. That one thing you do, try to magnify that inner voice. Try to do some yoga and meditation, and you'll see a dramatic change in your life. But when you hear that voice, don't disobey, because we have been disobeying it for our whole lives, and you know what I'm talking about. So many times you hear the inner voice, well, you disobey it, and what happened? This is the cause of your misery. It is the cause of our misery. Let us stop misery, as the Buddha said, and let us take that path that he has demonstrated. Swami Parameshananda ji, he's a master. He's a modern day saint. He is the saint of today, meaning that whatever he did was all practical for the time. Let us bring him in the picture and adore him. And you also, you must have that conviction that that guru that you have, it might not be the same like that I have, Swami Parameshananda, but whoever that guru you have, make sure it's a moksha guru, not a diksha guru that give you a mantra and he lives an ordinary life. But that moksha guru is one that is there looking down on you at all times. He's manifestation of consciousness. Let's do the guru mantra. Om Dhyana Moolam Guru Murti Puja Moolam Guru Param Mantra Moolam Guru Vakyam Moksha Moolam Guru Kripa. And let's do adoration to Surya Narayan. In a meditative form, let's chant the Gayatri Mantra. The Gayatri Mantra, let's take that energy that is circulating all around us. It's already available for us. Let's grab it and let it serve us. With that, we will be lifting ourselves to that high level. Let us have wisdom. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayat. Well, it's so beautiful to be in this mandir. Yesterday I was in the mandir with a building, and it's totally different. There are murtis made of marble, nicely dressed. But look at this temple, no walls, no ceiling. Freedom, skyrocket we can go straight to moksha liberation. No impediments. It's available to us. I bring you this message, and have a beautiful day. Make this one change. Embrace silence and listen to that inner voice. Hari Om, Shanti, Shanti, Hari Om.